Hello, dear friends. It's a difficult night when you can't make out the outlines of objects and all the cats look brown. I rarely talk politics, but the outcome of the US elections affects us all because of the geopolitical weight of this great world power. Opinion piece. Light in the night. Invisible results. Political uncertainty. The storm has arrived. All is done in secret. Plain guessing names. It's almost absolute silence. Who will put an end to the infinite? Choose hope over fear. Disappointing midterms. Defections in the white hats. Someone is interested in awakening Europe. Stocks plunge after the polls. Simon Buck says, it's not as bad as it looks. Republicans late in congressional results. Senate political race is still unclear. Let's start. The midterm election hangover has resulted in a dull and grey day where the results are not entirely clear and spirits are low because of doubts, to the extent that there have been defections in the White House because they have not seen what they expected to see after the disappointing midterms. If people don't see results, they start to doubt everything. Simon Buck says it's not as bad as it looks, but we are going to go through a near-death experience. Simon Buck interprets the election. He assures the discouraged and the outcome of the polls is being watched and that everything has been seen and recorded, and that the result, although he can see an increase in red in the count of postal ballots, is one of 7 possible outcomes that he himself anticipated. Mike Lindell assures that they are tracking all operations to avoid cheating. Everything is done in secret to make it look like nothing is going on. The next phase would be to catch all the lower-ranking mischief makers. Provisional results. Republicans lead in Congress, according to preliminary data. Early results of the congressional elections predict the transition of the House of Representatives to the Republicans. This, in turn, could seriously complicate the job of the Democratic incumbent. The fate of the Senate remains unclear. Republicans advance in the lower house, but the Senate remains tight. The Republican Party continues to close the gap to gain a majority in both houses of the US Congress, although the final composition of the Senate will probably not be known for a few weeks. According to the latest media projections, in the House of Representatives, the Conservatives now have 2,002 legislators, 16 short of a majority. Media attention on the Senate election battle has focused on 4 states: Wisconsin, Georgia, Nevada, and Arizona. Republicans were closing in on a narrow majority in the House of Representatives on Wednesday in a midterm election that defied expectations of overwhelming conservative victories driven by frustration over inflation. The Senate race between Republicans and Democrats continues to keep the electorate on tenterhooks as neither party was able to enshrine a definitive victory for control of the upper chamber. According to AP projections, the Democratic Party wins 48 Senate seats to the Republicans, 49. Currently, these seats, out of the 35 seats up for grabs, are up for grabs. In the event of a tie, the deciding vote would again go to Kamala Harris. Reset News. Stocks plunge after the midterms. Expect the unexpected, but be prepared for the same old same, says Poet Dog. Definition of insanity: repeating the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Last drops: endless lies, endless wars, endless inflation, endless printing, endless oppression, endless subjugation, endless surveillance. Who will put an end to the infinite? Taking control. Get ready for a motish apocalypse in the coming months. Once Euribor.com. Mass protests in Greece over rising prices and low wages. Someone is interested in awakening Europe and deindustrializing it. Macron criticizes Biden's inflation reduction bill because it affects Europe. France warns that the European Union is losing competitiveness to the US. The Chevron oil refinery in El Segundo, California is engulfed in flames and employees are unclear how the fire started. Patent describes a toxic airborne mosquito chemtrail program to spread chemical and biological weapons, says Ethan Huff. Inflation puts Colombia's minimum wage on hold for 2023. Turkey adheres to ruble for Russian gas payments. OPEC turns a deaf ear to Western demands to maintain oil prices. Saudi Prince bin Salman has the power to bring down big tech, global markets, global banks, global news agencies, and unite most of the Middle East against the system. Disturbing news from New Zealand. Intelligence services issue leaflets telling the public if they suspect friends or family members of opposing government policies to brand them as terrorists in quotes. Russia withdraws from Kherson but does not abandon special operation targets. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, the city of Kherson and adjustment settlements cannot be fully supplied and function under current conditions. Russia's end strategy clashes with reality, writes Sorcha. Shipments of Russian seaborne crude oil rose to 3.6 million barrels per day last week, reaching the highest level since early June. The global brands such as Lancôme, Yves Saint Laurent, Giorgio Armani have resumed supplies to Russia. Bloomberg reveals that the Biden administration is privately urging major banks such as JP Morgan Chase and Citigroup to continue doing business with strategic Russian firms despite sanctions imposed on Moscow over the conflict in Ukraine to avoid a global economic catastrophe. Ukraine invokes wartime laws and seizes major companies. Messages. Putin said, "You can all rest assured that the outcome is assured with regard to prosperity programs. You will see all that in black and white before long. We are all entering vigilant and keep our vigilance high wherever it is necessary for the brave and the forces to work to bring about these changes. There is no telling where, but the guardians of freedom and democracy are doing the heavy lifting in these times. Just go ahead and be willing to be an advocate for good, true and right outcomes." Message from Hackm. I think at this time it is difficult for athletes to imagine how pleasant and efficient a society is where the majority of beings are committed to serving Source and as such do not need laws to do so. Moreover, everything that needs to be done is accomplished harmoniously, without any central institution forcing human beings to perform certain tasks. You will be able to see for yourself how pleasant such a society flows when we make open contact, and it is likely that one day Earthlings will also build such a society. This is yet another reason why we think that the top priority for Earthlings should be the raising of their level of consciousness. Lao Tzu through Linda Dillon. Light moving at the speed of light literally transforms carbon into crystalline. Think of carbon under pressure becoming diamond, and what is it doing with his flow of energy through a physical form, whether it is there or not, but particularly when it is practical, it is creating such a flow of energy that it is assisting not only the anchoring, but the transformation of the crystalline body. All you have to do is say yes to be a transmitter of divine quality, of oneness with the one and oneness with the all. It is an act of humility. You cannot be a healer and suffer from pride. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.